Okay, hi, Ben again, here to make another video. This is a little tiny baby YouTube channel. As of today, we have just over 300 subscribers, and most of the content we make so far has either been me preaching, so I'm just taking a video from my church's website and putting it on my YouTube channel, or it's me giving something like a daily devotional, some sort of thoughts about scripture. And what I've started to make videos about is counseling, Christian counseling specifically. And the most feedback I've gotten, which hasn't been very much yet, has been on those counseling videos. People I know are eager and curious to hear more about what could be an effective form of Christian counseling. And so this is the first video that I've ever made that is made by request. Somebody requested this video. And so I want to again sort of outline the type of counseling that I do. And before I do that, let me give you just some credentials briefly. So right now I work full-time at a church in Iowa, and I'm not a pastor, I'm a deacon, and I wear a few hats. And one of those is I run the youth group, another is I help with the men's ministry, but maybe the biggest piece of what I do is I have been trained in a system of counseling that is, it's an in-house thing. It is something that we have designed. The pastor here 20 years ago put all this together from materials that he enjoyed and he consumed, materials like what Ed Smith might have done, transformational prayer ministry kind of things. There are forms of Christian counseling out there that are not biblical counseling. It's not, hey, you come in and the pastor gives you a Bible verse, and hey, if you just apply this Bible verse, then you can be healed, you can be helped, right? Because I think a lot of people walk away from that and they end up feeling like, well, I already knew that that was true. It didn't help me. The problem is not needing more truth. Like, you don't need to hear that Bible verse like you've never heard it. The problem is getting that truth to the right place, taking it out of your head and putting it in your heart. And that is what this system I've been trained in has specialized in doing. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I think that this process that we have, the process is called Renew Ministry. And I'm going to link in the description a way in which you can learn more about that. You can go to our church's website. If you're the guy who requested this video, or if you're somebody else coming across that, I'll give you a link and I'll pop it in there, and you can go investigate more and see what we're talking about. And maybe, just maybe, if you have an issue, part of what we're doing at our church now is we are advertising our services for free in our local community. But there's no reason we can't advertise them more broadly than that. So I would love to connect with some of you viewers, especially if you're the type of person that may need some counseling, if you have some desire to talk through something that's troubling you, I might be open to that. Anyway, I'll put the link down there. So what are my credentials? I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. Although we have people, I believe we have 3 people at our church right now, and we've had more in the past, who have specifically training. They have professional training in counseling, and that has served them really well in their pursuit and their counsel of Christian people, right? Secular counseling can work for Christian people, but what I do know that each of those people would say is, there's a spiritual or Christian version of counseling that is better. They're like, I went to school for like 8 years and that was good, or I went to school for 4 years and that was good. But actually, anybody can learn these principles and use them. I don't think any of those people would say, well, I would have never gone to counseling before. I would have never gone to school, to learn, but I'm glad I did, and that helps me. But just about anybody can learn this. So again, I'm not a licensed therapist of any kind, but I am certified. I'm trained in the method that I use. Again, it's called Renew Ministry, and I've been practicing it for about 8 years. I started by receiving it, first of all, and then eventually I learned to anticipate the questions that were coming, and I learned how to do this. And then I learned sort of instinctually. I learned just by watching, And then eventually I was taught specifically how to do this. And when I learned, when finally I was functional at providing it for people, and I did that for 5 hours a week, I had 1 or 2 appointments a week with just people from my church. And it was something that we've turned it into a lay ministry. People learn this and then exchange it. And now in the last year and a half, I may have had a couple thousand years of, not years, oh my goodness, a couple thousand hours of experience with this system. So what is it and how do you use it? Now, obviously I can't train somebody just over a YouTube video, but I think the things that I could share right now are going to help people evaluate how to be in fellowship with others, how to encourage others, how to talk them through things that are hard. Because I think there's just rightfully a lot of people that feel frustrated with, well, the truth is this, scripture says this, and it's like, yeah, but I don't feel better. So really, how do you get to the heart of the matter? How do you get under the surface and interact with the subconscious mind, interact with the emotions? And the biblical way to say that is to pull out a stronghold of the devil. So the process, Renew Ministry, is basically 4 things, right? So it's 4 steps. People walk in and they are experiencing a negative emotion, a feeling, a strong negative feeling. Now, usually those strong negative feelings are anger, sinful anger. There's no righteous anger, but sinful anger. They're experiencing anxiety. They're experiencing sadness, and they have a present set of circumstances that are attached to that. Now, what people need, it's just become so clear to me. People need a listening ear. They need somebody who just wants to listen without trying to fix. What people need more than anything else is an opportunity to share their negative emotions in a safe place. And so if you're somebody who needs to express your emotion, your strong negative emotion, or you have a friend, a family member, and you're trying to listen and you want to listen successfully, well, how in the world do you do that? Well, what it is you seek, in a big picture, what you're seeking to do is to draw them out. Proverbs says that the heart of a man is deep waters, but a man of wisdom draws it out. So you're trying to draw this person out. Okay, let me understand this. You feel, and so good note-taking goes a long way. What you're trying to do for somebody is get them to express as much as they can their negative emotions. Sometimes that's just pure venting, right? Somebody in their life is they're attaching these feelings to a specific person. This person is making me feel that way. And so I need to vent. I just have to emotionally vomit about that person. Now, obviously, there's a place for that. It's not good in a big picture. But suffice it to say, most people, most Christian people even, have no one that they really want to talk to. I think it's a common experience that it's like my friends and my family and even my pastors or people in leadership just don't know what to do with this. I keep expressing this and I can't solve it. And the way to solve it is to come to the conclusion of like, okay, if I understood this person's life, if I understood what their mom was like, their dad was like, their upbringing was like, their circumstances, everything they went through, it would make complete sense how they came to this conclusion and ended up feeling this way. Now, what that's called is validation. If you can validate somebody successfully, then that's at least step 1. Getting them to talk about negative emotion and then identifying what is true about that. Now, the reason they're struggling with it is because they're believing something that's not true about it, right? They may see something clearly, but they have this filter on it. They can't respond to it correctly. They're responding in sin. They're responding with these negative emotions. So that's a common question. Are these negative emotions sin? Is depression a sin? Is anxiety a sin? I think it's dangerous to just say yes and leave it at that. That's like a half a truth, because this person, what they don't need to be condemned in these things. They need to be affirmed, right? Once you affirm, okay, I understand how this happened. That must be so hard. And once you're able to do that, you've gotten pretty far, not to the level of the heart yet, but you've at least taken the cover off, and now you can go deep sea diving. You can go have a space odyssey into this person's heart, if you will. And so what does that look like? Okay, you have a strong negative emotion. And it's just this recurring theme. Well, I'm always angry when I'm at work. Okay, well, those feelings are attached usually to a past experience. Now, many times, many people with like a simple mind, they're not too complex. They're able to go back and figure out, okay, I'm angry at work, and this feels just like me with my mom or my dad or whatever. And so now you're taking the negative emotion from a present experience and you're saying, oh, okay, this is a familiar feeling. This goes back to something in my past. And you have to then go to this experience. You took the cover off the heart, and what's in the heart is that experience. Boom, you've now gone a level deeper into the mind shaft, and you can start talking about a negative experience that has negative emotion attached to it. And so for all kind of people, I mean, who knows? It could be, well, my mom was depressed and she slept all day, and that was my childhood. And so the experience that they have to talk about, the thing that they're so angry about or so fearful about, is something like that. Or, my mom was controlling, or my dad was controlling, my dad was angry, or I was teased relentlessly as a middle schooler, whatever it is. People have these formative experiences that are really, really hard, really, really difficult, things that have scarred them. And usually they don't realize there's a connection. The negative emotion I feel in the present moment is tied to the negative emotion I experienced initially in a past experience. And so you have to find those things. Now, some people are a little more complex. It is not always easy to figure out the exact experience that is troubling them because it hurts so much, and now they're putting up guardians. There's these guards on the heart, right? So you may open up the top of the heart and you may be able to go down just a little bit, and now there's something else you have to open up, right? And so what a lot of people will do is they're unable to connect with an experience. It just feels like a theme. Or maybe there's a lot of visual processors, people that are just like, I don't know why, but I'm just thinking of a frog right now. Or I'm just thinking of Jesus and he's shaking a finger at me. People just have this image in the mind. And you can work with those things as well. But whatever the negative emotion is attached to, you have to work with that thing, whether it's an experience or something else. And so the best thing you can do if you're watching this and you want to help somebody is you talk them through their negative emotion and you say, okay, this is probably connected to something in the past. Do you have any idea what that is? And you're just patient, you're loving, you're gentle, and you're trying to help them find that. And once they find that, well, let me talk about this. The way that you get there, right? So you're talking about the negative emotion. Okay, does this feel familiar? Ah, yes, it does. Where have you felt that before? Ah, in this experience. Now you're at that experience and you have to start asking questions like, what did you feel there and why did you feel that way? How do you feel? Why do you feel that way? And you could jump back and forth between those two questions. Well, I felt anger. Okay, why did you feel anger in that place? Well, my mom yelled at me and that wasn't correct. It was unjust. Okay, how did it make you feel that that was unjust? Well, I felt worthless. Why did you feel worthless? Because she's my mom and she's older than me and she's more mature and she should have seen this clearly and she's supposed to do the right thing because she's the adult and she didn't. And how and why? How, why? And you can drill down really far trying to clarify people's emotions. And the thing you're looking for is a lie. There is a lie. There's an identity lie about that person that got imprinted during that circumstance, right? So in the circumstance that they were in, they took on the belief that, well, it's right for mom to yell at me because I'm worthless. It's right for my mom to sleep all day, and when she wakes up and yells at me, well then if I'm hurt by that, then I just can't be hurt by that. I can't make my need known, or that's going to be sin, right? So kids or young people or people, when they're at a place where something really hurts, they come to crazy conclusions. They believe lies about who they are. Now, the truth is, well, your identity in Christ means that you were bought with a price. You were bought by the blood of Jesus Christ. And so because of that, you're not worthless. In fact, you're held in incredibly high regard by God. And so I've seen this dozens of times. I've worked with dozens of people where they figure out, okay, I have a strong negative emotion. Where have I felt that before? Well, here's this memory. And this memory, we start asking a lot of questions about it, this experience that they've had. Okay, now why did this thing hurt so much? Well, yeah, it hurt because somebody was yelling at me. But when they yelled at me, I ended up believing that I'm garbage. And now I've been walking around feeling like garbage for the last 20 years, and I'm angry about that. And so what we have to do is we have to get all the way down to this part, the bottom part, the part that feels alone, the part that feels worthless, something of that nature. We have to bring Jesus there. What would Jesus say to this part of you? Well, he would say he loves me. And it's miraculous. It's amazing that when you bring Jesus to this deep down part of your heart, you know, you open the cover, you figure out how to go all the way down into the mine shaft, and you know, you go deep sea diving, and what's at the bottom? It's this hurting part that just needs the truth, the relief that it is loved. And you can say, well, you know, what would Jesus say? Well, what would Jesus say to the party that feels worthless? Well, I'm not worthless. I'm highly esteemed. I'm a child of God. Now, the pastor who could have given them a Bible verse, that didn't land on them, right? Because the heart was closed, right? For the right. So it's the same truth. We're not offering a different truth than whoever it was did at a surface level. We just opened the cover and gave a depth charge that filtered all the way down, and boom, it exploded in exactly the right place. That is what helps people change. That is how you renew your mind. That is how it transforms. And so it's a shame to me that more people aren't equipped with knowledge like this. Now, it is out there. People understand this process. And I think basically it's the same no matter which brand of this you use. Transformational prayer, Renew Ministry, the Emmanuel process. There's all these different ones, carpet work, shadow work, whatever. There's probably dozens of them, but they're all basically doing that. They're not giving you more truth or new truth. They're just figuring out how to put it in the right place. And that makes all the difference. So hopefully this video has been instructive. Hopefully it's much appreciated by the person who asked for it. Any questions, let me know. And I think that this is something that people are hungry for. You know, people need this so badly. And most people don't know what to do with strong negative emotion. And they don't have somebody in their life that they can go to and actually get relief from. And so I want to at least point in the right direction and do what I can to be a help. So if I'm a help to you, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I want this voice to get louder. Thanks. See ya.